So hello everyone and welcome to this 10 Questions About Cloud podcast. Today we have Karim Fahmy as a guest. Welcome, Karim.
Thanks, Pablo, so much. Yeah, I'm happy actually to join you in this podcast, and it's the first podcast actually to have this year. And so let's start.
Cool. So I always use the
Yep.
first question to introduce yourself, basically who you are, what you do.
Okay, so hello everyone. This is Karim Fahmy. I'm an Azure Solutions Architect. This is, by the way, this is the introduction that I do in all my videos. Maybe we can talk more, a little bit details about myself. So actually, I'm from Egypt. I live here in Germany since 3 years. I've been in the IT field more than 12 years. I've started in the flight industry with Egypt Air, then moved to Vodafone Etisalat, and then I moved to Microsoft, then went to Germany, worked with Avanade Accenture, then Luxoft DXC, then finally Fujitsu here. Most of my track, I started as in the support engineer since the beginnings, since more than 10 years. Then I started to get changing my career, promoting, and since 2013 started the cloud journey, and it was the on-premises one, starting work with Windows Azure Pack, and also playing with the data center stuff, like going data center, doing the racks and building the connections between the racks and the server itself. So that was my life actually, 2013. Then 2016 just joined Microsoft. And from here we started the journey of Azure. And I was working actually in Microsoft as a TSP in MEA region. So I'm covering West East Central Africa. I was traveling to Ghana and Tanzania and working remotely with other countries. So it was really a good journey there. And so after a year and a half, so I got headhunted from Avanade actually in Germany, and started the work in Europe actually. So I was Azure Tech Lead, so I was responsible for the ASG region, and specifically the Azure infrastructure and the migrations and the hybrid scenarios extending. And I worked with a lot of customers there. I got the experience actually for the Europe market. And so I just moved to Luxoft, which was the automotive supplier for different companies, automotive companies, since we are in Germany. So it's the best actually automotive market that you can have ever. And so I worked there as a senior cloud solution architect. Then finally I moved to Fujitsu. And now I'm working as a senior cloud solution architect. So I'm kind of the bridge between the demand and the delivery. You can say between the sales and the delivery. So I'm translating, kind of a translator between the needs and the delivery from the technical side, and doing the architecting and the design, and a little bit maybe from the POCs or UAT if possible. And this is actually what we're doing right now. So a little bit from Fujitsu, what I'm doing or what we are doing right now. So we are just doing a managed services for Azure, providing those services for the customers, and also colocation, on-premises, a lot of services, hybrid scenarios, and not even for Azure, but for AWS and other cloud services. But my speciality or my specific area of expertise is the Azure. And so having fun there.
Wow, very long and very interesting cloud career, but
Thank you so much.
also IT career, I will say. Also jumping from one country to another, or even from one continent to another, that's really very interesting.
Yes, it's crazy actually. Think that working with a lot of different weather, different culture, different everything, if you can imagine. So I was doing and it was kind of a direct change. So working in Ghana and Tanzania, educating people there for the Azure and for all the customers, what is Azure, what is cloud, and blah blah blah. Then then after this, just moved directly to Germany. So you imagine that, so it's like from 0 to 100. So it's really crazy. Yeah, but it worked actually. I got a lot of experience there actually, and it helped me here.
Nice.
So yeah, that's nice.
Cool. Now I'm curious about your opinion. Now that you already told us all your experience, what are the biggest advantages of the cloud, or why are you recommending companies moving into the cloud?
Yeah, okay. This is kind of a sales pitch, but I won't say a sales pitch actually. But this is actually what I was doing in Microsoft, by the way, that not only for Microsoft, but maybe this can be beneficial for the other clouds. So going to the cloud is really good because time to market. So if you are working in a legacy company, so let's go back by time and think how we were provisioning new services. So for example, when I was working in the telecom companies, so for example, a new service from the marketing say, hey, we have a new offer we need to make for the customers mobile, have new services, blah, blah, blah. Then maybe in the infrastructure, there is no enough infrastructure to handle such an application, because you're talking about millions of customers is going to connect at the same time for such a service. So you have to have enough infrastructure. So in order to get the enough infrastructure, even if you are doing a good planning, you do not expect that the marketing changes its mind in, within minutes. So maybe 2 hours they say a new idea, then they cancel it and have a new idea, and nobody can control them because they are in the driver's seat for any company, actually, marketing and sales. So if you took this part actually and think about how the infrastructure is responding to this part, you're going to find that it's not easy actually. So I saw the whole process. It's crazy. So first of all, if you don't have enough footprints or enough systems, you have to order new hardware. New hardware, you have to make maybe a bid, maybe comparing between different companies. You have a lot of companies. I won't say exact, but I will say all because it's not like an advertising. So you have Huawei, you have IBM, you have HP, you have Dell, you have EMC, you have a lot. You have a lot. So you take time to get the hardware, and then you take time to configure it. You take time to make it up and running. Then you provide the service for the customer. Imagine this whole process in the cloud. You can do it in minutes, and you're only gonna pay for what you're gonna use. This is the best thing in the cloud. So today, the time to market is really in minutes. So if somebody's asking, hey, we need the new offer. Okay, how much? I need 200 terabyte storage, 3 gigs or 300 gigs of RAM. I need to make it up and running next week. Then you have some codes, some JSON, some ARM templates or whatever. Then you configure the CI/CD pipelines, trigger it directly. You have everything up and running and testing and so on. This is what is cloud is useful for. And also you are getting maybe unlimited computing resource from Azure if you want to have, so you can get unlimited. It depends on your contract with Microsoft. If you need the big data, machine learning, IoT, a lot of stuff. And even you will be on the edge technology while you are working with the cloud. So if a new thing that has been introduced, you won't get it into your data center, start configuring it and start testing. No, you will get it directly as a service. So the cloud actually is mostly adopting the idea of as a service, anything as a service. Now we reached the level of container as a service. So we started with the infrastructure as a service, as you know, then platform as a service, and then software as a service, and now container as a service. What's next? I'm not sure what's going to be next. Maybe, I'm not sure, some architects as a service. I'm not sure what's going to be as a service again, but I'm sure that there's going to be another topics that is going to be introduced there. No.
Yeah, definitely, really a very interesting topic. As you said, as a service is the new word, I will say.
Exactly, yeah, as a service. So I think they are going to start to do maybe the unified communications. As you see, the Office 365, they changed that rather than having your own office, then you can get it online. And even the other systems from Microsoft, the ERP and the Dynamics, and you can name it the M365. So there is a lot of stuff that is coming into the pipeline and as a service. Even the security services started to be as a service. So like Azure Security Center, they even started to build an Azure firewalls, their own firewalls. And I'm sure that they're gonna enhance it and make it more sophisticated, like the other brands like Fortinet, Barracuda, Checkpoint, whatever from the. But till now, they are not competing with them for sure, because they are really old in the market of security, and they are really brilliant, and they have a lot of sophisticated stuff. And even in the reference architectures of Azure, they are recommending to use the third party, like for example, Citrix, like Fortinet, like Barracuda, like Checkpoint. They ask the customers, hey, you can use this on Azure as a virtual appliance. And this is a brilliant idea also, not even from Microsoft, but from the other cloud providers, that you can provide the equipment as a virtual appliance, which is really awesome.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So you talk, I will say, about the old world and about the new world, which is the cloud. So the next question is related to, because I believe that the cloud skills are going to be a standard in the IT world.
Yes, exactly. But one thing that nobody should ignore, that the on-premises won't vanish. Never. This is, I'm sure of it, because not all of the companies want or like to have all of their equipments or workloads in Azure, maybe due to some security stuff. As you know, here in Germany, more security obsession. They like so much security. So it's a little bit hard while you're talking with customers. You know, I've seen that you're working with an ex consulting company. So I'm sure that you know this. So going into the security topic in the cloud is really hard, and you have to be really smart while talking about this, because they don't have the idea how it looks like. So they don't feel safe. Although you can get attacked inside your company, not even in the cloud. Wherever you were, you can get attacked. But the brilliant idea is to have a good security architect who can secure your environment, wherever is it, in the cloud, in on-premises. I can make everything in the cloud and nobody can touch it, because I'm encrypting everything. If you wanted to decrypt, you need to have a supercomputer with, like, I'm not sure how many stuff. So yeah.
So one of the most common questions I get around is which cloud provider to use. I know that you are very focused on Asia. However, there are some key factors that companies should consider when choosing the right cloud provider for the use case. What are the key factors for you?
Okay, so key factors of using another cloud provider, or just choosing the cloud provider?
Yeah, choosing the cloud provider, yeah.
Yeah, it's a little bit tricky, Pablo, actually. So choosing cloud provider, depending on a lot of stuff. So maybe the customer strategy is going with a specific technology. So he's not technology agnostic. Take care from this part. He might be maybe the whole system that he's having all Microsoft. So it doesn't make sense that he goes to Amazon, for example, or GCP. Other customers I've seen that they are technology agnostic. So they take three of them, the three technologies, and they spread the workloads all over the three. And then they do connections, because like the code says, do not put all your eggs in the same basket or the same nest, so you don't damage them. So this is the idea, the key factor. If you're talking for me as a customer, and the customer is asking, he don't know, and he do not have any strategy, then I'll ask that, what do you need actually? What actually you need to have on the cloud? And then I get the inputs or the requirements. Then I see from my capabilities as a consultant or as an architect, or my company is providing, if we have this part or strength in this cloud provider to provide a service on this, then we go with this way. And we try to convince the customer with this, because we have it. It's a little bit tricky between a business strategy, convincing, and also technical capabilities that you have. So it's both of them. And sometimes you find the deal like really big, then you need to get it by any means, and the customer trusts you, but he don't want, for example, Azure, and he needs another stuff. Then you start to take the same direction of the customer, and to have maybe partnership with others and take the opportunity. So it's at the end, it's kind of like, low hanging fruit. Just you take it as soon as possible. Do not postpone it, because if you didn't take it, another one is going to take it. In the market is really big. But like a key factor strategy that you are talking about is the requirements is number one, and see what is actually needed for the solution. Maybe Microsoft is really good in here. Maybe Amazon is good in here. Maybe the customer technology is more compatible with Amazon, or maybe it's more compatible with Azure, or maybe it's more compatible with GCP. Maybe he will get to a more discount here. Then you can save money and make other stuff. There is a lot of talks and games that you can find it during the engagement with the customer, and tell him which cloud he should go with.
Yeah, following this topic that you describe right now, the next question is, what about multi-cloud? Because this word is already very popular and very trendy, but what do you think about these multi-cloud approaches?
By the customers, you mean, or by the managed service customers, or managed service companies, like companies providing managing services? So you're talking from which perspective? You mean from the customer side or the provider side?
Yeah, I mean, you can cover both topics because they are really different. Depends on the perspective, so to say.
Yeah, as I mentioned in the customer side, it has a pros and cons, actually. So as I mentioned, that you are not putting all your workloads in one place. But the disaster comes when one workload is talking to another workload, and this workload, for example, is in service provider and the other service provider, and there is an outage. And here it comes, hey, say, no, it's not from our side, it's from the other service provider side. And as I say, no, we are stable, it's from the other. And here comes the problem with the customer. It's your problem because you have chosen two different service providers. You're splitting it together, splitting all over, separated, and you cannot define who is the wrong unless you are really have the top-notch architects, which is really gonna cost you a lot of money actually to have those top-notch, and then detect, yes, they are wrong, and then you will start having this. So it have a pros and cons. So if you can deal with the outages and the workloads outages between the different service providers, then you know who you're gonna blame and get your money, or blaming, or whatever there. But if you are targeting multi-cloud, maybe for dev and test, it's really good. For dev and test, it's really good and awesome. Then you can test here and here and here. And then when you find the right service provider, you will go totally with him. You will go totally. The workload, for example, you won't split the workload that is talking to the different. No, you will take it all to one service provider. Then you will get the right service, and even end-to-end, as he said, end-to-end support. There is nobody from outside or different. No. So this is my opinion about multi-cloud. If you're talking about from the side, from architects or the consulting service, integrating services, or companies providing managed services, multi-cloud strategy is really good, but you cannot make one architect have multiple combo certificates. It's crazy. For me, I'm sure that nobody, even if you are taking Amazon, all certificates, all the Azure certificates, all the GCP certificates, you won't be the same strength in all. You will have a horizontal knowledge, not a vertical. If you need to be a vertical, just take one service provider, be expert inside it. Then you will get the most, and you will be really unique in the market of the consulting services, architecting services, or whatever. But if you claim that you are having all the ideas, everything in the cloud, and even if the customer is expecting that one person is knowing all of this, this is not true, and doesn't make any logic. Unless you don't have life, you're desperate, and you are living at home alone, and you don't have wife or kids, and then you're just dedicated to the three miserable clouds or 4 clouds, just studying all the day. It's crazy. I don't think nobody can do this. And if you claim to do this, just maybe you have a strength in one, but you won't know this, the other tips and tricks. So if you're good in Azure, I can take AWS as for knowledge, but I won't say I'm expert in, because I don't know. I've been working in Azure since 2016. I've seen a lot, actually, because of the hands-on experience, and a lot of changes. And every week, if you see the updates of Azure, it's every week you have an update. Maybe every day you have an update. You have to test it. You have to see if it's compatible with this change or not, if it's going to affect the others or not. This is only one technology. So imagine in order to become update with the 3 or 4 cloud service, the top cloud service provider, I don't think that this makes sense. That doesn't make sense at all. Even inside the companies, they are separated in teams. So this is the Azure team, this is the AWS team, this is the GCP, this is the Oracle, and so on. Yeah.
I also share your opinion, and I agree on that focus is really a very important skill. And it's like it's not possible to know about big data, security, computing, that database. It's not possible. That's a full IT department. And with the cloud providers, it's exactly the same.
It's crazy, yeah. Exactly, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So let's continue again with the cloud providers, because there are already a lot of players in the cloud market. And the cloud market share is quite clear for this year. You already talked about AWS, Asia, but there are more. It's also GCP, Alibaba. There are a lot of them. How do you think the market share is going to look like in the near future? Do you think that the big players are still going to be the big players, or there are going to be some changes? What do you think about that?
So as we all know that Amazon is the number one, although I'm biased to Microsoft, but I know Amazon is number one because they started since all time, and they are expanding in a lot of countries, and also in a lot of industries. But I'm thinking about the two rising, or maybe Microsoft is gonna make a lot of enhancements or take a large share from the market. That's what I'm expecting, and it's already on this path. If you can see from the Gartner quad surveys, and Google is really going so fast. That's what I saw. Maybe Alibaba, I'm not sure, but I heard since maybe 3 years that they were investing a lot in data centers in Europe, which I think in East Europe. And I'm not sure where did they reach right now, but I think it's because I was working a lot with Huawei hardware. Then I was following the news. Then I knew that Alibaba is getting the Huawei hardware to build their own clouds in East Europe. That was 3 years or something like this, but I don't know where did they reach. I'm not sure actually if maybe it's gonna be you know that the GDPR and the European compliance should be applied if you want to use it. And also, if you notice that now currently Microsoft is already spreading like hell in the world. So recently they opened data center in Sweden, the open data center even in the Arab country, in UAE. They opened in I think in where else, in South Africa. They opened in most of Europe, is in France, in Switzerland, in Germany, in I think Italy is coming, I think Greece is coming. There is a lot. So I can see Microsoft is tackling this part, like spreading, and they want to get the market share so fast. But it won't be like Amazon, because still Amazon is really forward, and they are taking a lot from the market share, but it might come one day. This is my expectations. And Google is gonna reach a little bit, but it have a little bit problems, what I can see from the news in the data centers. But they are getting over it. and they are working hard in the sales part and the pre-sales part, and also they are tackling the part of the machine learning, big data, IoT so fast, and also they are good in it. So this might give them an edge in this industry specifically. But in the infrastructure as a service, I think it's Amazon and the competition is going to be Amazon and Microsoft so much. Maybe after this a little bit, maybe Google, and yeah, I don't think Oracle is gonna do this. I'm not sure why, but I don't feel them there. They are targeting a really niche customers that are using Oracle database and stuff like this just to get benefit from the cloud. But even there are a lot of agreements between Microsoft and Amazon with Oracle, with the other also, with the SAP, and so on. So who's going to take the market share? As I mentioned, it's Amazon, number one. They're still the number one from the market share, and Microsoft is really doing a lot of work to reach this. I'm sure of this, and they will reach it one day. It's a matter of time, nothing else. Matter of time, and also GCP, Google Cloud, is gonna come soon behind Microsoft, but not exceeding Microsoft, but like near to it. Like this is Amazon, Microsoft, and Google, like this, moving like this. And Amazon actually won't stop. They are going to expand somewhere. So it's gonna be crazy competition. That's what I'm expecting. Okay. So the smart customer is gonna benefit from the different clouds, but in a smart way, not to damage or to have a non-good concept while he's planning for infrastructure on the cloud. Like, as I mentioned, do not put all of your stuff, and do not put different workloads that is communicating with each other in different vendors or different service providers, because it will make a lot of problems. This is my expectations. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thanks for sharing your vision and your opinion.
Thank you so much.
Let's see how this evolves in the future. Yeah. I cannot say, because I don't have a very hard opinion here. Let's see.
Yeah, let's see.
So I will change a little bit the topic. I will talk a little bit about China, because during the last years we have seen that how fast the Chinese market and how massive the market is. Just with the cloud infrastructure, they grow 63% last year, which is kind of a lot, I would say. And it's already the second biggest market in the cloud. So how do you expect this to evolve during the next years? For example, with the Chinese cloud providers expanding to other countries, or how do you see that? Do you see also Microsoft being the number one in China?
I think there's already Microsoft in China, but
it is, yes.
being number one is, I think it's not easy there in China, because China market is really specific to the Chinese companies, and they are really trusting each other there, and it's easy to expand if you are like Tencent, or because I was working actually in the telecom company earlier in Egypt. We were working with different Chinese companies like Baidu, Tencent, and Alibaba. We didn't work with this, but Huawei for the service and stuff like this. But I don't have any insights really about the Chinese market. I didn't have a look there. What's going to be there actually? But I'm expecting a lot of investment in the cloud part, even from Alibaba Cloud. But it's kind of it's hard actually to give a trust right now for and new competitors in the cloud, specifically in the European market. Maybe in the Middle East and Africa, it's easy to expand there if the Chinese market wants to expand. So I think it's easier to expand there because there is a lot of potential in Africa and the Middle East. But maybe in Europe and US, it's gonna be a little bit hard actually. This is my expectations. Maybe I'm wrong, but this is what I can see from the current situation.
Okay. Yeah, just for your
Yeah.
information, that Asia was the first American cloud to expand in China, to open their infrastructure in China. But of course, it's operated by a local company, a Chinese company. Okay, let's continue with the two last questions. The first question is just if you want to share the latest or one of the latest things that you learned recently about cloud. Of course, it can be, I don't know, a strategic or a tool that you are using, or I don't know, whatever you want to share.
Okay. The latest thing that I've learned from, for example, from Azure or from in general?
Yeah, in general, but not necessarily the latest thing, but one of the latest. I don't know, something that you want to share.
Yeah, maybe I would like to share this. In which domain you want? So in IoT, infrastructure, whatever. So you don't.
It doesn't necessarily be related something with the technical part, really technical part. It can be also strategic, or it can be a tool that you use that helps to, I don't know, to manage the cloud, or.
Okay. Yeah, maybe I don't want to do a promotion for specific technology actually, because I like some of the new stuff that third or ISVs that is being cooperating with Microsoft on the cloud. Maybe from the strategic perspective, there should be kind of maybe a unified platform that manages, or like, you know, like Microsoft Arc. I like it so much. I didn't use it yet, but it's kind of like give you a holistic view for all of your environments, even on the cloud, third-party clouds, or different clouds than Azure, and your on-premises, everything. That is why I call Arc. So this is one of the good things that yeah, I'm tending to understand more and know its capabilities, and I think it's going to be beneficial if you want to have like a centralized place for managing different resources in different places, even on premises, on cloud. This is one of the coolest things actually. Maybe recently, if you find that there was the latest also technology, maybe latest service from Azure, it's called the PureView, and it's kind of like a central place to manage the Azure policies, which I didn't start to read about it, but this was like yesterday. So I'm looking forward actually to see what's going to be there. These are the latest things that yeah, I would like to share with you. Yeah.
Cool, really interesting. Yeah, then the last question is just that as you already know, there is a lot of information related to the cloud out there, but it's not possible to read everything. So
definitely, yeah.
I'm just curious about which sources do you use to keep yourself up to date?
Which sources? Microsoft, the documentation, the updates, the blogs of Microsoft. Those are my resources of information, and also you can find the other, maybe other people blogs. So there are some MVP blogs that you can follow them, and this is my source of knowledge. I like, by the way, to Channel 9 from Microsoft. Channel 9, this is really awesome. A lot of people can have a look there. And events. So the Microsoft events gets you the latest updates, latest technologies, latest everything from the updates perspective. But mainly is the Microsoft blogs, Microsoft Azure blogs, the official blogs. You can have each day a look on it, just see what's new there. This is how I keep myself updated actually and see what's there.
Okay, it is kind of filter, or there are there are a lot of industries, and I'm sure that there are some industries or some technologies where you are more interested about Asia.
So actually, I'm not filtering, not doing all filters, but I'm just focusing on the infrastructure and platform as a service, infrastructure as a platform service, and yeah, a little bit from the containerization, Dockers, and yeah, maybe database as a service or those kind of stuff that is really near, not so far. This is what I'm almost filtering in my blogs in the Microsoft blog or Azure blog. Sometimes the on-premises, like there's a new feature in Hyper-V or stuff like that, but not so common that I'm checking it. But from time to time, I'm checking what's the latest here. Yeah.
And you are sharing your thoughts on your YouTube channel, right, about these services?
Yes, exactly. So I was doing earlier an episode about the updates. Then I stopped because it was really hectic. And then I started my own series, but I'm going to make it back, but in a way, maybe in the middle of my talks. For example, if I'm talking today on virtual networks, on storage accounts or stuff like this, so I'm going to say the latest stuff that we have in this, like this, the latest updates. And the series that I'm doing actually is like repeatable. So I'm repeating them, but each time I'm going into a different aspect. Maybe this one is really deep dive, maybe it's horizontal, and then deep dive. And then it depends on each scenario that I'm going through. Yeah.
Very cool. Really interesting.
Thank you.
So that was basically it for the podcast. I would like to thank you very much for accepting the invitation and participating on this podcast.
Thank you so much, Pablo.
I really learned a lot from you.
Thank you so much.
I will for sure check a few things that you told us. And okay. Yeah, it's been a pleasure for me having you here with us.
Thank you, Pablo. And I hope we meet one more time. And also, I would like to invite you in my channel one day after, yeah, maybe a couple of weeks or month, depending on your time.
Challenge accepted.
Okay, cool. Thanks, cool. Pablo.
Yeah, thank you very much, Karim.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye. See you in the next podcast.
It was a pleasure. Thank you. Thank you so much. Have a nice day. Bye. Bye.